Last week I uploaded this video testing if a boat could be faster than a land vehicle. And in this video, the boat got beaten by an unupgraded Sanchez and a fully upgraded Drogher. However, as a lot of people pointed out, the boat time of 1 minute and 10 seconds could be a lot faster because I didn't use the handbrake to steer sharper in the boat. So in this video I will correct this mistake and set a better time for the boat, and also use faster vehicles to try and still beat this time. So first of all, we have the boat run, well, the updated boat run. As you can see, it starts quite similar as in the original run. This corner wasn't really that sharp, but I'm already using the handbrake a little bit here. And especially in the later sections, it helps a lot. Because I had to slow down a lot in the original run, and in this one I didn't have to do that as much. As you can see, I will let go of the gas only a couple times, compared to the, a lot of times I had to do before. And as you can see, we make quick progress and get to these sections with a lot of speed. We're carrying a lot more speed compared to the other runs, other run. And as you can see here, we keep on going, and especially this turn here. I still have to slow down a little bit, but a lot less than I did before. As you can see, I still carry quite a lot of speed. The other one I lost a lot of speed here, same for this section. But now I can just, turn quite easily. And as you see, instead of 1 minute 10, we are gonna be arriving just under 1 minute with a time of 59 seconds. It was like 59.1, 59.2, so very nice. The first car we're going to be testing is a similar car we tested in the first one. In the first one we tested the Sultan RS Classic, and this is the Sultan RS Classic, but it's upgraded. So it's fully upgraded, so it's going to be a bit faster. In the original testing, the original video, this one actually got a 1 minute 13, I believe. Unupgraded, so I have a little bit of hope. The Sultan RS Classic obviously benefits from a very low traction loss multiplier of, 0, so it isn't affected by the off-road, grip loss as other cars are, which is really nice. But the one thing it still suffers from, although it's, as you can see, it has a low speed, its suspension is not that great. As you can see here, it bounces a lot, so I also had to try this for a couple of runs, and in the end it is fast, but its top speed is also not that great. It's like 189. Obviously you can't really use it that much, but compared to some other cars, it definitely lacks somewhat in top speed, and obviously the grip with suspension. So in the end it gets a 1 minute 7, which is 6 seconds faster, but it's still lacking. Another car which this has a slightly higher top speed. I think it's like 4 kilometers per hour faster than the Sultan RS Classic. But the thing that it has going for it is the suspension. It's a lot softer, so I must admit, while trying to do this, I flipped over a lot of times. But to be honest, in the Sultan that happened sometimes as well. But this generally leaves a little bit more contact with the ground, so you can actually corner a little bit better and also accelerate a little bit more. Although this doesn't have a traction loss multiplier of 0, but it's very low. I think it's 0.15 compared to the normal 1 for a lot of cars. So it's still pretty fast on off-road, and like I said, just the suspension definitely helps in just keeping that contact and keeping a little bit more grip compared to the Sultan RS Classic. But as you can see, the times are quite similar right here, and in the end the time this car will achieve is right about the same as the Sultan RS Classic, just marginally faster. As you can see, it slowly ticks down, and it's a 1 minute 6, but it's like a 1 minute 6.6 or 7 or something like that. So it's just a tiny bit faster than the Sultan RS Classic. Obviously driver error plays a role, but I think the Germani is a little bit faster than the Sultan RS Classic. The next vehicle we have is not a car anymore. It's the Bati 801, which is not an off-road bike, but it's a fast bike. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna give it a shot. And as you can see, it's bikes obviously like the last video, the Sanchez upgraded, also got like a 1 minute 7, I believe, and this is a fully upgraded body, which makes it really nimble through these sections, and also the top speed with wheeling a bit is quite decent. But yeah, the main advantage of the bike is that it needs a lot less space than the cars. For example, this section is a massive time save compared to the cars, because it can just like shoot right through. And the cars, you have to slow down or get really lucky, but like bikes can consistently do this quite effectively. Same with like a section like this. With a car, you really have to think about it, but this just needs so much less space, so it's really easy to just fly through a lot of these sections. And in the end, it actually gets a really fast time of just 1 minute 3, which actually matches the 1:03 of the Draugr in the last video. Now we're going to take it up a little bit. We're going to actually take an off-road bike. So this is the BF400, which in normal off-road races is in the top of the class. So the top of the class in off-road, you know, next gen it's the Monstrosity HSW. Well, this is PC, so we don't have that. And otherwise it's the Draugr and the BF400. BF400 is a little bit better if you have a track that is very straight, like a lot of straights, because if this wheelies, it gets quite a high top speed. And the Draugr, for example, is the second is the fastest actually, but it has a lower top speed, so it really gets its time from grip. So that's why the Draugr got a 1:03 in this track, because it's mostly a grip track. But the bike takes it a little bit here because it's very narrow. Draugr really gets its time on like more open grip areas, I guess. But this is a place where the bumps really affect it a lot, so their bikes really shine. But still, it just beats the Draugr by like a tiny bit with a 1 minute 2. And it's just a 1 minute 2, like 0.0 or something like that. It's very just a 1 minute 2. Next up, we have a car. Little disclaimer: the Issi Sport actually is a tiny bit slower than the BF400, but I wanted to have a car in between this and the final vehicle we have. But it still is quite up there time-wise. The Issi Sport has a 0.15 traction loss multiplier, which means it isn't quite as good as Sultan RS Classic, but it still barely reduces speed. Also doesn't really have a high top speed, just like the Sultan RS Classic as well. But it has a lot of base grip, so that base grip definitely helps it, because even though its traction loss multiplier is a little bit higher, its base grip is way higher than the Sultan RS Classic, so that really makes it fly. But once again, the one thing hindering it is its suspension, basically. The Draugr, for example, really did really well because it has high grip and also a very good suspension. This thing has a lot of grip, but suspension is a little bit lacking. So if this had better suspension, this would dominate. This would be incredibly fast. And we finished at our 1 minute 3. I didn't have a finish because I didn't have this car in the normal game, so I had to play 5M for it. But yeah, now we're going on to our last vehicle, which is the Sanchez. And this time it's a Sanchez, but upgraded. Actually, as I told you before, I did a Sanchez run in the other video, which was a 1 minute 7 in the end. This one is obviously fully upgraded, so it's going to be a little bit faster. And the Sanchez is really comparable to the BF400. Well, in this run, for example, but here actually the Sanchez is way nicer to drive. It corners a lot better. The BF400 has a higher top speed. You can definitely feel that, but it's really like a lot more difficult to corner. The Sanchez is really nice to corner. It's really easy, and I think you can get a lot more consistent times with this. Like the Sanchez, I think this was like one of my earlier runs. Even my first one, I got quite far and just messed up like the last bit here. And the BF400, like I had to do quite a lot of runs just to get it. And actually, we finished at 1 minute 2 as well. And I checked in the recording software. The Sanchez was actually 2 frames slower than the BF400. As you can see here, this is where they are at 1 minute 2 exactly. And they're essentially at the same place. Like I said, it's 2 frames, which is basically nothing and can all be accounted to driver error. So basically the BF400 and the Sanchez get the closest to the boat, but still are 3 seconds off from the boat time. So this might be a nice little challenge if you think, oh, I can beat it. Definitely leave a comment if you think like some specific car can beat it. But you can also try. I'll try and link the social club race, so you can try and beat the boat. If you want to try it with, for example, the Sanchez or maybe the Issi Sport or the Draugr. If you want to try the 59-second time. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I was glad to make another one of this also to correct the mistake of not using the boat correctly. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this.